This is how I get more shit done than I ever have in my life, by doing less. And when I made the short version of this video on Instagram, Hank Green commented and said that this is what he does. So if that's not an endorsement, I don't know what is. But I'm going to take this a little slowly. My reason for that is I don't want this to be something you're just checking boxes off on. I don't want it to be something you feel like you need to take notes on. I don't want it to be something you put in the saved folder and then don't return to. I want it to be something that you walk away from this video, feel like, yes, I understand that. I know exactly what to do. I don't need to refer to any notes for how to do it. It's in my head. I can choose to use it if I want. That's one reason. The other reason is, if I make it fast-paced, the desire is to skip to the juicy bits, the bits with the densest information, and then skip ahead through chapters to see, okay, I got that bit, and let me get to the next part. Whereas it's my job to help you take action easily. I don't want you to have to push through shit. I don't want you to dislike taking action. I want you to enjoy the things that you want to work on and the things that you want to get out of the way, and not feel like you're constantly burdened by the shit that you have to do. And because that's my job, what I want to encourage you to do as you watch is go pick up a chore, pick up something to do as you listen. So a hobby thing, if you like knitting or drawing, something to do with your hands, moving around, going for a walk, cleaning some dishes, making a bit of food, something to keep your hands and your body occupied while you listen. So you don't have to look at my ugly mug. You can passively absorb the information as we talk it through, as it sinks in. It's not just going to be checked boxes, as I move a bit slowly so the information can absorb, and so I can sort of mull over things as I talk, so I give you the best that I can give you. So I encourage you to slide out of bed, stand up, start moving around now if you haven't already, and I'm going to get into it. There are kind of 4 steps here, and I am going to talk about the reasoning behind them and go into it a little bit as well. But 4 core steps for how to execute this way of doing things. And then as we go into the premise, you'll see how you can adjust it to yourself if you so desire, and some other sort of things that you can bring in as well if it suits you. The first thing, and I'll go through the 4 steps fairly quickly, I think, and then go into a bit more depth as we go on, as you move around and do things, so that, you don't have to note things down, you don't have to memorize anything. We want to make a list first of all of the shit that's on your plate at the moment. Just like a brain dump, an info dump, particularly if you don't have that kind of a list already, you don't have a comprehensive, here's all of the stuff that's kind of going on in my life, just making a dump of all of the information. And that's only going to have to happen once, because as you go on, you'll kind of maintain things naturally and easily. When we've got a dump of everything that needs to happen in general in life, I need to sneeze. Thank you for the bless you, those of you who just did so. The other list, and this is step 2, is a list of the stuff that you need to get done on a day-to-day basis. The stuff that is on repeat, or the stuff that you want to be on repeat. I'm not talking all the little habits you want to add in, but the stuff that if you got it done every day, life would just be much better and easier. So rather than say like starting a meditation habit, I'm talking about making sure the kitchen is clean, or replying to emails. Things that, as soon as you let them go, they can get a bit out of hand and make life difficult. So the things that sort of there are consequences if they don't happen every day, that kind of thing. That list we want to basically happen every day, right? And that's a much better representation of your expectations of yourself. That list is what you should align your expectations with. We can very quickly get into a place where we have much higher expectations of ourselves than what we can on a day-to-day basis actually manage. And that ends up making us feel shit about ourselves. And what do we do when we feel shit about ourselves? We procrastinate. Procrastination is just avoiding pain. It's distracting yourself from the pain of tasks. And so if the task feels painful because it makes you feel ashamed because you're not doing enough, that shame is going to make you want to distract yourself from that shame, the pain of it. And the distraction is procrastination. The distraction is numbing the pain. So we don't want to cause more shame by having unreasonable expectations of ourselves. That list is the baseline expectation. This is the stuff that it's reasonable for me to ask myself to get done every day. If I miss 1 or 2 things. It's no big deal. Basically, that's what I can expect of myself every day. We start with a low expectation and we gradually grow our expectations over time. If we stop being able to meet the expectations, that's representing sort of our current threshold. What we can reasonably expect of ourselves. We shouldn't expect ourselves to consistently be exceeding the level that when we hit, things start to feel overwhelming. So you have a list of just all of the shit that might need to get done, or that does need to get done. And then you have a list of the stuff that probably needs to get done basically every day. The strategy here that ends up helping you get more shit done than you ever have ever is taking just one of the things from the everything list and putting it at the top of the daily list. That's the strategy. Just one. So 1, info dump. 2, daily stuff. 3, on a daily basis, one thing from the info dump list to the daily list. Step 4, we don't add anything else from the info dump list, to the things to do today list. Because the daily list, that's basically your starter to-do list. You don't need to create a to-do list all the time or even maintain one because it's the same stuff every day. You add one thing for today from the info dump list and you don't add anything else until you've gone through those things. At the very least, until you've gone through the first thing on that list. How do you choose which thing? It's whatever you feel most stressed about or that feels most valuable to you. The things that you take off the info dump list to make your number one priority for the day before the other sort of daily things is what will essentially have the most value to me. So the first thing you're getting out of the way every day is the thing that feels highly valuable. If it's really stressful, it might be painful as well. But you know it's going to be really valuable to get rid of because it's going to relieve a shit ton of stress. So there's a really good reason for wanting to get it done. That task, and there are a few other things we can think about with this, that task, you don't want to make it just an enormous thing like writing an entire essay, but certainly spending some time on the essay, chipping away at it. Getting your teeth into something you've been avoiding relieves stress on its own because it gives you heaps more information about how to continue to progress. That's a small tangent. The thing that I really want you to focus on here is that we want to shrink the expectations. This is why this works. This is why you will get more done doing this than whatever you're doing at the moment, whatever chaos your productivity might look like at the moment. This will help you get more done because it orients you around the most important stuff. I think I need to tuck my hair behind my ears so that I am not constantly brushing it out of the way. When our expectations are high and we're struggling to match those expectations, that's when, as I said, a lot of pain starts coming in. It's overwhelming just to think about all of the shit we have to do. If you do that info dump list, you're going to see that. Like, holy fuck, there's so much. How do I possibly get to this? You might get a bit of a kick of motivation as well, just saying, okay, I want to start chipping away at these things. It's what I call dopamine motivation, the satisfaction of ticking off boxes. But it's also overwhelming to think about how can I possibly get all of this done, particularly in a short period of time. And that's a good signal of if our expectations are really high, we end up overwhelming ourselves. And if we're in a moment where we don't feel like our capacity is high, we're feeling emotional, we're feeling tired, we're feeling stressed, we're feeling procrastinating, having high expectations makes the whole thing feel really overwhelming and often a bit pointless. Like, I can't possibly get to all of this, so why even try? That's where our brain ends up going. We end up catastrophizing. We end up blowing things out of proportion, going, why even invest my time in this? I can't do it. I can't get enough done today. This is too much to think about. Never mind. Let me pick up my phone and start scrolling. Or let me watch another episode. Too much to think about. If we have just one thing to think about, one thing that we know is really valuable for us to get out of the way, then at the end of the day, even if you haven't got heaps done, you're going to feel good. Because you did a difficult thing or a valuable thing or both. And then you still chipped away at the things that have to get done kind of every day. Our self-esteem tanks it tanks. Our confidence, our self-esteem, our self-worth, it tanks when we're consistently not doing things that we think are supposed to be easy things, maintenance things. When we're consistently leaving these big, heavy things. That's where most procrastination and where most self-worth shit, at least that I've noticed through coaching, tends to come from. It comes from not doing the most valuable things, the important things, the daily things, the stressful things. Not from not doing heaps, not from not finishing everything. It comes from not doing those little pieces. And those little pieces, those really central things, are manageable when we're not criticizing ourselves, when we're not feeling shit about ourselves, when we're not adding all of this unnecessary weight. So getting all of the information out in an info dump and having here are the things that I do on a daily basis, that only has to happen once. Honestly, as you listen to this, if you're done making a bit of food, probably not. We haven't been here all that long, though we may not need to be here that much longer either. You can see the length of the video and I cannot. If you're done doing what you're doing, or you want to get started on this, just go start info dumping as I talk. Note down the things that you'd like to happen kind of on a daily basis. I'm going to have to trust you that you're not going to put too much on that list. There shouldn't need to be many things on that list. For me, and this is going off the top of my head, I still keep them listed for a reason because I won't necessarily remember them easily. That's why we make the list once off, and hey, we can edit it over time. But for me, we have emails. I actually put emails as a thing that only has to happen every 2 days because I don't like them and I try not to run too many things, too much of my business through them, so I don't have to deal with them all the time. Cleaning the kitchen, cleaning one other room. I live in a fairly small apartment, but I make it bathroom, office, living room, bedroom. Which thing will I be additionally cleaning today, just to keep things maintained and nice? And I find that does a good job. It means it keeps things localized. Things never get very far out of proportion in terms of mess, and that keeps the house looking nice and comfortable and not feeling chaotic, gross, stressful, and making it harder to work. Those two things. Every 2 days, also checking general messages from people. Sometimes there are things to check on a daily basis, but I only go through all of them every couple of days. So not even quite daily. You say bi-daily would be twice in the same day. Every second day, whatever. Day nightly instead of fortnightly, we'll say. And the last thing that is on it is creativity, which usually takes some form of writing. Sometimes it's making a video like this. Those are the only things that are like my daily things. And sometimes the creative thing is the thing that is my singular focus for the day as well. It's fine to have some more stuff on there. I'm probably going to add doing some LinkedIn stuff to that list as well, because I want to grow over there as well. And potentially responding to comments on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Usually I do that a bit randomly, but I'd like to be a little bit more present in those places, so that might be something that I add on a daily basis. We'll see. But keeping it a fairly limited list so it's not becoming this big, detailed thing that I have to center everything around. So I want to come back to then how do we pick which thing we add on a daily basis? We've got the daily list. How do we pick which thing to add? And I've already said, based on stress and value, if you do have really stressful things, though it's hard to do, I really recommend putting that first. But if you do that when those things do come up, you're not going to have many of those things left. If you are always picking that thing or consistently picking that stressful thing to put first on the list, you're going to run out of stressful things, which feels great, by the way. But then how do you pick? How do you pick which thing is most valuable? And my recommendation is picking something that feels like it's progressing your life, feels like it's progressing your goals, feels like it's leading your life in a direction that you're excited about. I'm going to shift up on this rock a little bit. Feels like it's moving you in a direction you care about, you're excited about. Making Instagram videos for me. I'm trying currently to get to 3 videos a day or 3 posts a day. I'm at pretty consistently 2 posts a day, still figuring out systems to make sure that sort of gets all sorted. But even the fact that I'm looking beyond that makes it much easier to hit the 2 a day. And on the days when I don't feel bad, because it's like, well, usually that was more an administrational thing for one thing, but also, hey, my goal is beyond that. It's going to be easy. Like, it's not, oh, I'm missing the bare minimum. It's, no, I'm just on the way. I'm on the journey. I'm getting there, which feels good. So that, making a YouTube video, writing scripts, sending emails, usually those are the things that to me are like most exciting, most meaningful, most progressing me. Because marketing stuff, that's ultimately sort of how I grow business, how I grow voice. And voice is what I'm most interested in, talking about this stuff on a larger scale in bigger spaces, learning more myself, continuing to learn through coaching and the various other ways one does in life, so that I can help people a great deal in this, because I find this area very interesting and I find it fun working in it. So those kinds of things to me feel like we're going to put that first today. And then I personally have a few other things in the wings, or I order the dump list now. The dump list doesn't have that much because I'm relatively up to date with things. But the dump list is kind of vaguely ordered in what I feel would be most valuable. And I often just don't remove things from the dump list because they need to repeat at some point. So I'll finish them from the day list, delete them from the day list, leave them in the dump list to come back in when they need to come back in. YouTube, film a YouTube video, edit a YouTube video. They're things that are in the dump list. Edit a YouTube video will need to go tomorrow, unless I get an impulse to do it today because, hey, I've already got this out of the way and film YouTube was the one for today. If I get I still have steam in me when I head back home, it's getting into the afternoon, then I will edit as well. And then that can get deleted and stay in the info dump. But the video editing one, as soon as I walk back, I can delete that. It'll still be for next week, for me to come back to next week, it'll still be in the dump list. And that makes it so easy to manage the stuff that I have going on in my life, because usually things just kind of come back around. Does that need to happen at the moment? No, not a high priority, not the thing that I'm going to pick to be the central focus for today. It doesn't seem like this would help you get more shit done than you ever have in your life. But it enables so much more consistency because there's so much less pressure. You're not all or nothinging. You're not pushing yourself to do heaps all at once. Because when you push yourself to do heaps all at once, you end up wearing yourself out and you need a bigger break. And then you stay in the same loop of not doing much, not doing not much, not doing much, doing a shit ton, not doing much, not doing much, rather than consistently bringing the baseline up quite a lot higher, because you're not expecting too much of yourself on any given day. And so you're able to manage what is in front of you much more easily. So when you take the weight off by simplifying and minimizing to just the really high value stuff, whether that's taking stress off, whether that's moving you towards your goals, whether that's because it's an exciting thing, because it's helping someone you love, whatever the reasons why it's valuable, when you boil it down just to those things that maintain your life and get rid of stress or progress you, your capacity increases because you gain more momentum, you gain more energy and excitement. You're not feeling drained all the time. You're not pushing yourself until you're out of steam. You're able to maintain consistency, not because you're pushing yourself to, not because you're being self-disciplined, just because we as people, we do like getting stuff done when it's not painful, when it doesn't suck, when it isn't overwhelming. And there are ways of living just day-to-day life that enable that make that so much easier. And that's what this is for. The last little sort of side note I want to give you, at least that occurs to me in this moment, I apologize if I give another side note after this side note, is where possible, when a thing is a bigger task, when you're kind of ahead of things because you've been applying this for a little while, maybe a week gets you ahead of things, maybe 2. Doesn't matter if you miss a couple days. come back to it because it's helpful, not because you have to. But when you're a bit ahead of things because you've been using this for a little while, my recommendation is not to try to completely complete tasks beginning to end on any given day. For me, filming a YouTube video, that's something that's going to happen at once for a bunch of reasons. The editing would be annoying, the lighting would be weird, I'd lose the thread. It makes sense to film it all at once. But editing a video, which is going to take longer than filming it, that is a bigger thing. That's a bigger task, activity. And it's the kind of thing where you can power through, particularly if you have a bit of momentum, a bit of energy, you want to get things out of the way, but you will get bored, almost certainly. You will start to wear out, lose a bit of steam. You can push through the loss of steam, but you will lose a bit of steam, and the activity will stay far more interesting and exciting to you if you break it up. You give it an hour, you give it a couple hours, then you come back to it tomorrow, the next day, and if you're a bit ahead of things, it's fine for you to put things off a little bit like that, because it's no longer procrastinating, it's making a decision to maintain your energy. And that lets you control, navigate, organize your day in a way that suits you so much better, because you're not having to force yourself all the time when you don't want to be doing things. You're able to structure things, move through things in a way that just kind of vibes, that you like. I like novelty. I like spontaneity and being able to shift between activities. That makes my day feel more enjoyable, more interesting, more engaging, because it's not just one big task today, one big task tomorrow, one big task the next day. The space this creates to do things in a way that you like is incredible. And that's really, I say it's a side note, but that's really the transformational thing about this. The reason why it ends up giving you so much time, ends up making you so much more productive, is because you will be more productive if you can do things your way. If you can create and navigate a context and structure for the way you move through the world, the way you get stuff done, not in a productivity sense, so that might be what we're talking about here, but just in we as humans need to do things, and we like to do things, and we want to do things. It doesn't have to all be a ticked box that you have duty for. We want to do things, and being able to choose how you do, it removes so much pain, it makes things so much more enjoyable, it makes things so much less heavy, makes burnout so much less threatening, possible, likely. The reason why this will help you get more shit than you've ever done in your life is because it creates space, emotional space, time space, space to choose how you want to do things. And it's very little to maintain. It's not something that you have to constantly be contributing to. It's not something that you have to constantly be maintaining, even, really. It's not like a to-do list that you always have to add to. I think normal to-do lists and to-do list apps are a bit useless, and I've heard data from them as well, like I've heard data from the companies that says that basically people don't use them, or they get a very small number of their tasks marked off, and a large part of their market is people who are just trying to get on top of shit in their life at any given point in time, and they have high churn as a result. People leaving and coming all the time because they're not using them, or they feel they should be using them, like a gym membership. So we don't want a to-do list that's an organizational task in and of itself. It becomes a thing, hey, you get things out of your head so they're not just sitting there. There's a brain dump list, and a lot of those things are going to repeat, so you just leave them there so that you can see them to put them back on the daily list when the time comes around. Daily list. Everything but one thing is the same every day. You might adjust the things that you do every day a bit as you learn what is more important to do every day, things that you maybe want to do every second day, like me, things like that. You adjust it, make it work for you. You don't have to follow the formula exactly, you just use the premise. You understand the premise now. It's managing expectations, creating space by doing so, because there's less weight, there's less heaviness, there's less threat. In those two things, there's very little management, because it's kind of just the same stuff all the time. You pick one thing each day. Okay, that's the thing that's really important for me to get done. If I get it done, great. You're going to feel so good. You're going to feel so much lighter. You're going to feel better about yourself, and you're going to want to do more. You're going to want to push yourself to do more, challenge yourself to do more. If you don't, that's fine. And on the days that you don't, that's fine. And you'll still feel good because you've still done that thing. But you're not having to manage this whole extra thing. This isn't a lot. This is something you can just brain dump, which you're probably going to have to do at some point anyway. And then note down the things you want to get sorted every day that'll make you feel better. Pick a thing, move it across on a daily basis. Don't think about anything else but that thing until you've got it sorted. Then, if you really think you have space, when you have done it and you know what daily things you have left to do as well, if you really think you have space, you can add something else in, and that will be your prerogative. And if you don't, you've had a great day and you're going to feel good. That's how you get more shit done than you ever have in your life. By doing less, by asking less of yourself, by demanding less, by pushing yourself less, by needing duty or threat less. It makes life so much lighter, so much easier. I have just like a stockpile of some of the best strategies for dealing with productivity ever because of the blessing of the people that I work with and the kind of stuff we figure out together. So if you want more of this, there is more of it. But I can absolutely say if this works for the people who struggle with procrastination most, the greatest of which was I. And there are people who I work with who match me as well, but there's definitely a top threshold. There's like a worst you can be. And I was there. You might be there. You might know people are there. Certainly the people I work with often are. And the things that work for us, if they work for us, will absolutely work for everyone else. And they'll be easy to use and more effective as a result because there's less procrastination to wade through too. I hope that this has sort of absorbed as you've listened. I hope you have gotten a couple of things done. Maybe you've got your list done. Maybe you've got a bit of food, you're eating it now. Maybe the house is looking a bit tidier, and congratulations on that. Maybe that'll be one of your daily things. But I have to suggest that you just make the lists and see. Please give it a go. And if you're open to it, let me know how it is in the comments. I hope this is absorbed. I hope you kind of passively do. Just know how this works now. You're not trying to memorize, wait, what did he say from a short form video? You understand what I in the beginning called 4 steps. I hope you don't try to memorize them as 4 steps. Just recall back to this. If you need to do some chores again tomorrow, perhaps, listen to the video again. Watch the video again as you do so it can sink in a little bit more deeply. And so you can take the lessons from it. Make your own version if you think you have ideas, or just test it, iterate with it. This isn't a rigid, fixed set of rules. It's such an important thing with this shit. This doesn't have to be the exact way that you execute it. You can adjust, change it to make it work better for you. See if it does, see if it doesn't. See what the outcomes are. Do it a little bit differently each day and see what you learn and how you can make it better. Your way is the best way because your way is the way you want to do it. And if you want to do it, you'll do it. If you don't want to do it, you won't. So we need to find strategies that you like that work for you. If you found it helpful, please tap the subscribe thing. And if you want to stay tuned, tap the bell so you can hear other things like this. And if you liked it, click like. I don't want to give you too many calls to action. If you only do one thing, subscribe, please. But it's been a pleasure hanging out with you, and I hope to see you around soon.